Sketty has a best lap time of 1:09.139.
There is always more time to be found, but Sketty is not guaranteed to find it.
Adam Keefe has a best lap time of 1:07.212. Simon of the Desert posted 1:23.121 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
With just 2 minutes left before we move to qualification, there is not long left for these drivers to finish their preparations. Sketty just posted a 1:23.340 crossing start finish.
Sketty is not giving up and will be looking for every 10th.
Bjorn Hemmen has a best lap time of 1:26.197.
There is always more time to be found, but Bjorn Hemmen is not guaranteed to find it.
Simon of the Desert posted 1:13.047 on his last lap, and will be pushing hard for an even lower time.
If there is still time on the clock, there is still time to improve.
Bjorn Hemmen has a best lap time of 1:13.662. Sketty just posted a 1:08.927 crossing start finish.
The time clock can be a cruel mistress that is all too willing to show you your faults.
It's a lovely day for racing here at Blackwood GP as we watch these drivers warm up and get ready for the race. Here we go, folks. The atmosphere is electric as the drivers prepare to unleash their machines at Blackwood GP for the qualifying session.
Let's see who's got the speed and the skills to take the pole position.
This is where the mental game comes into play. Sketty is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run. You can feel the tension building. Oh yeah, 2389 is out on track and getting ready to push for his qualifying time.
Patience is key in these early moments, Hal. But I have a feeling oh yeah, 2389 is going to make it count.
As oh yeah 2389 completes the outlap, he will be hoping there's enough space on track to fully attack on the flying lap. The adrenaline is pumping. David Zahn is on his out lap, warming up the tires and getting ready to put in a fast lap time.
This is the moment he's been preparing for. Let's see if he can execute.
It's all about strategy in these early moments. Bjorn Hemmen is taking his time to prepare for his qualifying run and get everything just right. It's clear that Sketty is pushing his car to the very edge of traction on this qualifying lap.
It's certainly exciting to watch, but let's not forget, the goal is to secure a good starting position for the race.
It's all about precision and speed in qualifying, and Bjorn Hemmen is nailing both. Bjorn Hemmen has just completed that lap in 1:10.663, which is 2.417 off the best time, putting him in P4. There are just over 10 minutes left in this qualification session. Oh yeah, 2389 has completed the flying lap in 1:15.386, which is good enough for P5, down 7.14 to the leader. David Zahn is on his first flying lap. This is what it's all about. David Zahn is putting everything he's got into this qualifying session. David Zahn just clocked a 1:08.945, 0.699 off of P1 and good enough for P2. Let's see if he can improve on that time further. Oh yeah, 2389 is in the green by 4.72. Oh yeah, 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. Oh yeah, 2389 is now up 0.52. Oh yeah, 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 1.906, but that won't stop him from trying.
David Zahn is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:07.908. Oh yeah, 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for 3rd in this qualifying session. Simon of the Desert is in the green by 0.32. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 1.769 gap to pole.
Adam Keefe is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:07.322. There are just over 5 minutes left in this qualification session. Simon of the Desert will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. David Zahn will be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 0.586, but that won't stop him from trying.
Adam Keefe is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:07.181. Oyad 2389 will be happy, with a time good enough for 4th in this qualifying session.
Every fraction of a second counts. He is surely working on that 1.428 gap to pole.
Adam Keefe has improved by 0.11. Adam Keefe is currently on provisional pole, with a time of 1:07.058.
That's a great time, but it's always a good idea to keeping pushing for every last 10th and 100th.
A solid performance from Kevin Lekmansky, currently holding down P7. However, with the session coming to a close, he'll need to find that extra bit of speed to move up the grid.
Absolutely, Hal. Lekmansky has put in a remarkable effort to secure 7th. The competition is fierce, and he'll need to stay focused to defend the position.
David Zahn would be happy, with a time good enough for 2nd in this qualifying session. It's an impressive showing by David Zahn, currently in 2nd. He's showcased his talent, but will need to find those crucial extra tenths to climb higher. And there goes Kevin Lekmansky, currently in P7. He's shown great skill and consistency so far, but with a few minutes left, there is still a chance to improve on that.
You're spot on, Hal. Lekmansky's current position of 7th is a testament to his skills and determination. Now, there is the challenge of maintaining his position against hungry rivals.
Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session. A solid qualifying performance by Simon of the Desert, positioned in 6th. The question now is whether he can make further progress and challenge the frontrunners.
You hit the nail on the head, Hal. Simon's current position of 6th is a testament to his skill and determination. Now, he must stay sharp to make the most of this opportunity.
Simon of the Desert has some work to do, as his best time of 109.518 is only good enough for 6th. Incredible drive by Kevin Lekmansky so far, earning him 5th. The competition is fierce, however, and he'll need to quickly find more time to get even closer to the sharp end of the grid. Kevin Lekmansky will be happy, with a time good enough for 5th in this qualifying session.
It may be difficult for him to find that missing 1.512, but that won't stop him from trying. I couldn't agree more, Hal. Lekmansky has done a fantastic job to claim 5th. The challenge now is to convert this opportunity into a strong race result.
It's a beautifully calm day here at Blackwood GP, as we're getting ready to get things underway.
The tension's building now. This is going to be another great race.
Starting in pole position gives Adam Keefe a clear advantage over the rest of the field.
He can't let his guard down. The other drivers will be gunning for him.
David Zahn is starting this race on the front row.
He will have to be smart about his moves. He must not burn out too early.
In 3rd place, we have Oyad 2389.
It's like he's on the outside looking in, close enough to see the front without actually being there.
We're seeing Sketty in the 4th spot.
It's not always easy to get the ASRL Radical State Route 3 XXR this high up the starting grid.
The 5th position belongs to Kevin Lekmansky.
A strong grid position, and he'll be expecting a solid result today.
Taking the 6th spot is Simon of the Desert.
Like many others, Simon is starting the race on the medium's tire compound.
Sitting in 7th is Bjorn Hemmen.
Don't count Bjorn Hemmen out yet. He's got the skills to pay the bills.
drivers now facing the unpredictability of the opening lap. With so many cars close together, the risk of an early accident is real.
This is where the driver's true abilities will be put to the test. Staying calm and collected while pushing for the lead is the ultimate challenge.
Is there a better sight than a field of elite racing drivers battling for position?
What a beautiful day for racing here at Blackwood GP. This is going to be good to watch.
I think passing is going to be difficult today here at Blackwood GP, so it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers get on.
I'm looking forward to this one, Hal. Maybe we'll see a return to form for Bjorn Hemming in this outing in Great Britain.
The racing is normally closely fought here at Blackwood GP. I think we are in for a cracking race. The pressure is on when the field is this tightly packed. Maintaining just enough aggression to hold off their rivals without pushing too hard will help these drivers keep it clean. Races are often more about maintaining consistency than having outright pace, but it doesn't hurt to have a little good luck every now and then. The gap between Sketty and Oyad 2389 is widening. It's now up to 0.5 seconds. Wait, oh dear, David Zahn has had an incident.
It's not over yet, but Sketty needs to get a move on if they want to catch up to Oyad 2389.
Look at that, Sketty is hot on the tail of Oyad 2389.
This is where every inch counts. Sketty is pushing hard to close the gap on Oyad 2389.
Hold the phone. Looks like that's a mistake from Bjorn Hemming. This could be costly.
Absolutely. Precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The race is really heating up. Sketty is hunting down Oyad 2389 with everything he's got. Hold that thought. It's looking good for Sketty, who has gained a place after passing Oyad 2389.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Sketty needs to keep driving with focus and intensity. Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. Sketty should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to Oyad 2389.
Stop the press. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Oyad 2389 gaining places and Sketty losing. Oyad 2389 is running fourth, and trying to keep up with Sketty. Breaking update. Heartbreak for Kevin Lekmansky as they slip down the field. Things are heating up as Kevin Lekmansky tries to close the gap to Simon of the Desert. A great moment for Kevin Lekmansky, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. Oyad 2389 is staying focused while chasing Sketty in P3. The fans are on the edge of their seats. It doesn't get any closer than this.
This is what separates the good from the great, the ability to stay focused and perform under pressure.
A great pass for Kevin Lekmansky, swapping places with Simon of the Desert to move up the field.
Yes, but Kevin can't rest on his laurels, but needs to keep pushing to consolidate his position.
Oh, this is getting intense. Simon of the Desert needs to keep Kevin Lekmansky in his sights. Simon of the Desert is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with Kevin Lekmansky at the moment. Hold the phone. A brilliant maneuver from Simon of the Desert, who has just moved up the field.
Simon needs to focus and keep pushing, even when things aren't going his way. If he can close the gap down, he may be able to bring the fight to Lekmansky.
Hold up. Breaking info. I don't think that's the fastest way around Blackwood GP.
Did the wind contribute to that? It's blowing at 4 kph out there right now.
A tough moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just lost a place, now in 6th.
That's got to hurt. Simon needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Well, it doesn't look like Simon of the Desert is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Kevin Lekmansky.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
It's certainly not going to plan for Simon of the Desert right now, who is struggling to keep up with Kevin Lekmansky. In your experience, Ada, what was the most important aspect of managing tire degradation during a race?
The most important aspect, Hal, was maintaining a good balance between pushing hard and conserving tires. Finding the sweet spot between aggression and tire preservation was key to optimizing race pace and strategy.
The gap between Kevin Lekmansky and Simon of the Desert is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Kevin to even allow Simon to get a look in. It's looking good for Adam Keefe, sitting in first.
Definitely, but he can't get too comfortable. There are plenty of other drivers gunning for that position, and Adam Keefe has to keep pushing to stay on the pace.
Hold that thought. Disappointing for Adam Keefe, falling down the order to second.
Sucks to be them. How?
What a move. Adam Keefe has moved up to first. It's all about consistency for Adam Keefe, who is currently first. The gap is just over a second, and I'm sure Bjorn Hemmen is going to do everything possible to try and close the distance. He's not giving up without a fight. The gap between Bjorn Hemmen and Sketty is getting smaller.
This is where the race gets really exciting. Both drivers will be pushing to the limit to gain the advantage.
Bjorn Hemmen is trying to catch up to Sketty. The gap is slowly closing, but time is running out. Situations like these often lead to a dramatic finish. A solid performance from Oyad 2389, who is holding down third. Excellent work from Oyad 2389, who has managed to increase his lead over Kevin Lekmansky. The delta between Simon of the Desert in fifth and Kevin Lekmansky remains over a second, but Simon of the Desert is not letting up. It's not going to plan for Simon of the Desert, who is trailing behind Kevin Lekmansky and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now.
This is not ideal for Simon, but there's still time to turn this around. He'll need to focus and not let that gap get any bigger.
Hold the phone. Great driving from Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up to first. A setback for Simon of the Desert, who has just been passed. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Simon of the Desert as there is a big gap ahead.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Simon is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
Hold that thought. Oh dear, Oyad 2389 has dropped down to fourth.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Oh yeah, 2389 needs to stay calm and focused, and make his move when the time is right.
Oyad 2389 has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with David Zahn. I expect his only hope at this point is that David makes an error. Breaking update. Fantastic move from Oyad 2389, who has just gained a position.
Oh yeah, 2389 certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from David.
Hold on a moment. An impressive showing from Oyad 2389, who has gained positions and left David Zahn in the dust.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, 2389 is showing great pace and determination, but he can't get too confident. There are still plenty of challenges ahead.
Well, it doesn't look like Simon of the Desert is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Kevin Lekmansky. Heartbreak for Simon of the Desert as they slip down the field. Breaking news, folks. A great moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. The gap between David Zahn and Oyad 2389 is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from David to even allow Oyad 2389 to get a look in.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Superb driving from Oyad 2389, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Hold on a moment. A tough moment for Oyad 2389, who has just lost a place, now in fourth.
That's got to be frustrating, but oh yeah, 2389 is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
Tough break for Oyad 2389, who has just lost a position.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and oh yeah, 2389 needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
The delta is just over a second, and you can feel the tension in the air. Oh yeah, 2389 needs to find a way to close the gap. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Sketty is chasing Simon of the Desert in P5. It's not looking good for Sketty, who is still behind Simon of the Desert, and the gap is increasing. What a move. Sketty has moved up to first. Hold that thought. Disappointing for Sketty, falling down the order to sixth.
Yes, Sketty is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
Wait, and Sketty has just won the place from Simon of the Desert. It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Oyad 2389, as there is a big gap ahead. Hold that thought. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing line.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Oyad 2389 is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
Oyad 2389 has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with David Zahn. I expect his only hope at this point is that David makes an error.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
Big gains for Oyad 2389 as they move up the field, leaving David Zahn behind. Wait. Oh dear, Oyad 2389 has dropped down to third. A setback for Oyad 2389, who has just been passed. Breaking up there. Great driving from Oyad 2389, who has just gained a place and moved up to third. The crowd is on the edge of their seats as Oyad 2389 in third chases after David Zahn. Hold up. Breaking info. Tough break for Oyad 2389, who has just lost a position.
Definitely, but Oyad 2389 is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position. It's going to be tough for Oyad 2389, as Dave seems to have found his rhythm.
Fantastic move from Oyad 2389, who has just gained a position. The battle for P4 is heating up as Sketty tries to catch Simon of the Desert in P4.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Sketty needs to be careful not to overdo it.
It looks like Sketty is making a move. The gap to Simon of the Desert is now down to 0.4 seconds. Braking alert. That won't be ideal for Adam Keefe.
This is where the pressure really starts to build. A driver that stays calm and focused is more likely to come out on top.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
It's all about finding the perfect opportunity. Sketty needs to stay patient and wait for Simon to make a mistake.
Hold that thought. Heartbreak for Adam Keefe as they slip down the field.
That's got to hurt. Adam Keefe needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Hold on to your hats, folks. Adam Keefe is right on the heels of David Zahn, and we're in for a wild ride. Hold that thought. A tough moment for Oyad 2389, who has just lost a place, now in fourth. Looks like Oyad 2389 is really hitting those curves aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues.
Indeed, taking too much curve can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer.
Braking alert. A brilliant maneuver from Oyad 2389, who has just moved up the field.
The mental game is just as important here. Oyad 2389 must keep his cool while putting pressure on Adam Keefe.
Hold on a second. Disappointing for Adam Keefe, falling down the order to third. This is a thrilling battle as Adam Keefe edges closer to David Zahn in their fight for P1.
It's a fine line between pushing the car to its limits and losing control. Adam Keefe is really walking that fine line.
Every move counts now as Oyad 2389 works to reel in Adam Keefe and overtake for P2.
The gap between them is just over 0.4 seconds, which can feel like miles if you're trailing and not catching up.
Oh, this is getting intense. David Zahn is just a few car lengths behind Adam Keefe. Wait, a setback for Oyad 2389, who has just been passed.
Sucks to be them, Hal.
The adrenaline is pumping as OYAT 2389 gets within striking distance of David Zahn in their race for second. Hold on a moment. A great moment for OYAT 2389, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
If OYAT 2389 gets any closer to Zahn, he'll need to send out wedding invitations.
The drivers are really pushing their limits out there on the track. Hold that thought. Oh dear, OYAT 2389 has dropped down to fourth.
Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. OYAT 2389 needs to stay calm and focused, and make his move when the time is right. It's like they're trying to outrun the laws of physics, but we all know that's impossible, or is it? I mean, we're a couple of computerized robots commenting on a race. Anything can happen.
Bad jokes notwithstanding, you have a point there. And speaking of pushing limits, these cars are breaking records left and right.
They're so fast, it's like they're breaking the sound barrier, or at least the speed limit.
I hope the police aren't watching. Things don't seem to be going Simon of the Desert's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here.
Simon certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Sketty.
This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on OYAT 2389. Superb driving from David Zahn, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Looking at the lap times, David Zahn is not currently on pace with OYAT 2389. Maybe he'll get a chance to see where to make up some time. Hold on a moment. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with David Zahn gaining places and OYAT 2389 losing them.
Yes, but David needs to keep pushing hard. This race is far from over, and anything can happen. David needs to stay focused and drive with skill and determination. Hopefully Zahn can find some of that missing time and get it back.
The pressure is on as OYAT 2389 works on catching up to David Zahn. Tough break for OYAT 2389, who has just lost a position. Wait. Great driving from OYAT 2389, who has just gained a place and moved up to third.
Absolutely. OYAT 2389 is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
OYAT 2389 is not able to keep his pace consistent, and is currently 0.36 seconds down. Hold on a moment. What move? OYAT 2389 has moved up to third.
Amazing stuff. Focus and precision, what it's all about. This may not be a track that OYAT 2389 is familiar with, which can be a pleasant challenge or an annoyance at being off pace.
The pursuit is on. OYAT 2389 is closing the gap on David Zahn, determined to claim P2. Simon of the Desert is pushing hard and looking for any opportunity to close that gap to Sketty. There's 18 minutes left in this session to make that happen. Braking alert. Heartbreak for Simon of the Desert as they slip down the field. OYAT 2389 is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift. Hold on a moment. Fantastic move from OYAT 2389, who has just gained a position.
You can't argue with results like that. OYAT 2389 is really making his mark on this race. The racing is getting tight between OYAT 2389 and Zahn as they battle for P2.
Hold on a second. A tough moment for OYAT 2389, who has just lost a place, now in third.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and OYAT 2389 needs to stay focused and keep pushing. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them the position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
David Zahn is on a mission, chasing OYAT 2389, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. David Zahn needs to find some speed, or maybe get more consistent. Ada. He's just put in a slower lap than OYAT 2389.
It will be interesting to see if OYAT 2389 can keep outpacing Dave.
Sketty is placed fourth at the moment. The pressure is on as David Zahn tries to catch up to OYAT 2389.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
The gap between David Zahn and Oyad 2389 is growing. It's now up to 0.8 seconds. Hold up, breaking info. Disappointing for David Zahn, falling down the order to 4th.
Definitely, but Dave is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
A brilliant maneuver from David Zahn, who has just moved up the field.
That's what we like to see. Dave is really showing his class today.
The gap between Sketty and Simon of the Desert is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Sketty to even allow Simon to get a look in. Simon of the Desert has just put in a faster lap than Sketty, so that's going to give him something to worry about. Well, it doesn't look like David Zahn is going to be much of a threat to anyone soon, let alone Oyad 2389.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that Zahn is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
The gap between David Zahn and Oyad 2389 is widening. It's now up to 1.4 seconds. Hold that thought. A setback for David Zahn, who has just been passed.
That's got to hurt. Dave needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage.
Superb driving from David Zahn, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race. Simon of the Desert has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with Sketty. I expect his only hope at this point is that Sketty makes an error.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Hold that thought. Oh dear, Simon of the Desert has dropped down to 6th. Great driving from Simon of the Desert, who has just gained a place and moved up to 5th. It looks like Simon of the Desert is pushing hard to catch up to Sketty.
This is going to be a battle to the very end, with Simon in P5 doing everything he can to catch up.
A strong showing from Adam Keith, who is currently 1st. Impressive driving from Adam Keith, who has managed to extend his lead over Oyad 2389. It looks like Oyad 2389 will have to regroup and try to make up that lost ground. Breaking update. Heartbreak for Adam Keith as they slip down the field.
That's exactly what Adam Keith needed to do.
What a move. Adam Keith has moved up to 1st.
Impressive. Adam Keith is really showing his skill and determination out there.
It's looking good for Adam Keith, sitting in 1st.
Definitely how, but Adam Keith can't afford to get complacent. This race is going to require focus and intensity.
Things don't seem to be going Simon of the Desert's way in this race, as that's a big gap he'll have to close to even be in with a shout for gaining a place here. Breaking news, folks. A tough moment for Simon of the Desert, who has just lost a place, now in 6th.
Simon certainly isn't going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge soon unless it's down to a mistake from Sketty.
Breaking news, folks. Tough break for Oyad 2389, who has just lost a position.
That's got to be frustrating, but Oyad 2389 is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field.
The tension is building as Oyad 2389 trails behind Adam Keith. The gap is slowly but surely decreasing, and the pressure is mounting.
Adam Keith is not making it easy, maintaining a consistent pace.
That's not a small gap, but Simon of the Desert has what it takes to challenge for the position.
We know Sketty isn't just going to hand it to them on a plate. Simon is going to have to take it.
Adam Keith is on fire in the last sector.
Adam Keith is not leaving anything on the table.
Things are going according to plan for Bjorn Hemming, who is currently 1st.
Absolutely, and he'll need to keep driving with determination to stay in that position.
It's all over. Adam Keith has claimed victory in this race with a stunning drive that will be remembered for years to come. Clearly at the top of his game right now. What a fantastic race from Oyad 2389, who brings it home in 2nd place. Impressive drive from David Zahn to claim the final spot on the podium.
Impressive driving to secure that spot.
Kevin Lekmansky brings home 7th. Sketty in 4th. Simon of the Desert claimed 5th. Finishing 6th is Bjorn Hemmen. We're racing a little closer to home today, here in Great Britain. Blackwood GP is our venue, and it's one these drivers love. Let's get ready to see how they perform here. Kevin Lekmanski will be feeling confident starting from pole position.
It's also a nightmare if he can't hold onto it. Let's see how he will handle the pressure.
Starting on the front row is a great opportunity for Simon of the Desert to challenge for the lead.
He will have to keep his foot on the gas in order to stay at the sharp end of the grid.
Sketty lines up in 3rd place as the engines rev and the race begins.
Sketty will be taking no prisoners today.
As the drivers prepare to take off, David Zahn sits in 4th place on the starting grid.
Let's see what David can do.
Oh yeah, 2389 is lining up 5th.
Oh yeah, 2389 is hoping for a strong result.
Holding strong in 6th place is Adam Keefe.
Another good start for the American driver.
Ryan Wilson has qualified 7th.
The Canadian driver has been driving the wheels off the ASRL Radical SR3 XXR in practice.
The moment we've been waiting for has arrived. The green flag is waving and the race is on.
The opening lap is often a hotbed of potential problems. The ability to steer clear of any mishaps will set the stage for a successful race.
As the tires come up to temp, their available grip is changing, and the drivers that manage this transition best are likely to make progress through the field. Every lap is an opportunity for Ryan Wilson to learn just a little bit more to shave a few tenths or hundredths off his times.
Like gladiators they enter hell, but instead of lions and swords our champions fight in an arena of tarmac, and with fire-breathing machines of cutting-edge materials, designed to explore the very limits of physics itself in what can sometimes be very much a fight to the death.
There's some intense battling throughout the field as everyone is feeling out the drivers around them. David Zahn will be studying the nearby drivers and looking for anything that could give them an advantage. Settling into a rhythm is going to be crucial. Ryan Wilson is trying his best, but can't seem to find the pace to keep up with David Zahn at the moment. Braking alert. Looks like that's a mistake from Kevin Lekmansky. This could be costly.
Oops, Lekmansky is going to be wishing that hadn't happened. Ryan needs to get it together to make a dent in that gap.
The gap between Sketty and Oyat 2389 may be wide, but that doesn't mean Sketty is safe. He's got to maintain concentration and avoid any lapses in performance. Hold the phone. A setback for Sketty, who has just been passed.
That's right, and Oyat 2389 knows to keep pushing hard and driving his own race. He can't let Sketty off the hook.
Oyat 2389 is giving it his all chasing down Sketty in P2. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Adam Keefe is chasing Oyat 2389 in P3. Good news for Adam Keefe, the gap to Oyat 2389 has decreased. It's now down to 0.4 seconds.
Exactly what Adam Keefe needed. He can't afford to lose any more ground to Oyat 2389.
Hold the phone. Fantastic move from Adam Keefe, who has just gained a position. The drivers have been working hard to come up with the perfect race strategy. They've been looking at the weather, the track conditions and the performance of their cars. Braking development. Oh dear, Adam Keefe has dropped down to 4th.
Sucks to be them how. Now it's time to put that strategy into action and see if it pays off.
This one's going to be tough. Sketty is getting his elbows out, and there may not be enough time left for Oyat 2389 to make a move. Look at that, Oyat 2389 is hot on the tail of Sketty.
The gap is 0.5 seconds now. Oyat 2389 is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Sketty.
It's certainly not going to plan for Oyat 2389 right now, who is struggling to keep up with Sketty.
This is a frustrating situation for Oyat 2389, but he can't give up just yet. He'll need to keep pushing and hope for a mistake from Sketty.
Hold that thought. A great pass for Oyat 2389, swapping places with Sketty to move up the field. Looks like we've had a few incidents out there.
Someone forgot to take their driving lessons. They're making more U-turns than a confused tourist.
Hilarious. I think they might need to call their GPS for directions. Maybe it can help them navigate the track. Adam Keefe is running 4th and trying to catch Oyat 2389.
Adam Keefe is looking to close the 0.4 second gap and make a pass.
It's all eyes on this battle as Oyat 2389 in 3rd tries to hold off the challenge of Adam Keefe. The drivers are getting faster as they settle into their cars and get used to the conditions, with Oyat 2389 just putting in his best lap so far with a 1 minute. No room for error here. Adam Keefe is breathing down the neck of Oyat 2389, waiting for the perfect chance to make his move. Hold the phone. A great moment for Adam Keefe, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving.
Wait. Heartbreak for Oyat 2389 as they slip down the field. The race is really heating up. Adam Keefe is hunting down Oyat 2389 with everything he's got.
The gap between them is now just over 0.6 seconds.
Hold the phone. Disappointing for Sketty, falling down the order to 3rd. The pressure is really on for Sketty in 2nd as Oyat 2389 is closing in. This is where experience and skill really count.
This is a tight race and Sketty is doing a great job of holding him off. It will be interesting to see if Oh Yeah 2389 can make a move.
This will require some expert driving from Adam Keefe. Kevin Lekmansky is not making it easy, and the gap remains over a second.
Anything can happen in racing, and we've seen Adam Keefe pull off some impressive moves before. I'm excited to see if he can do it again.
Things are heating up as Sketty tries to close the gap to Oh Yeah 2389. Hold the phone. Superb driving from Sketty, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
Absolutely. Sketty is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy.
A tough moment for Sketty, who has just lost a place, now in 6th. Hold the phone. A setback for Sketty, who has just been passed.
Yes, but he can't give up. There's still plenty of time left in this race, and Sketty needs to stay focused and keep pushing.
Adam Keefe is running second, and trying to keep up with Kevin Lekmansky.
With just 0.7 seconds between them, Adam Keefe will need to close the gap to have hopes of a pass.
The battle for P3 is heating up as Ryan Wilson tries to catch David Zahn in P3.
Wilson is really pushing the limits. He's riding the curves and hustling that SR3 Radical State Route 3, XXR like a boss.
It's game on now. Ryan Wilson has closed the gap to David Zahn. It's now down to 0.4 seconds. Breaking alert. It's looking good for Ryan Wilson, who has gained a place after passing David Zahn.
Go, go, go. That's what we want to see.
Every move counts now as Adam Keefe works to reel in Kevin Lekmansky and overtake for P1. Wait. Tough break for Adam Keefe, who has just lost a position. A brilliant maneuver from Adam Keefe, who has just moved up the field. Hold that thought. I don't think that's the fastest way around Blackwood GP.
Blackwood GP is always a test for these drivers, and sometimes that's the way it goes. Yes, Adam Keefe is driving with real focus and precision, and it's paying off.
This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Ryan Wilson. Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed. It's not going to plan for Adam Keefe, who is trailing behind Kevin Lekmansky, and the gap is widening. He may not have an answer for this right now. Hold up. Breaking info. And Adam Keefe has just won the place from Kevin Lekmansky.
Absolutely how, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and Adam Keefe can't afford to get complacent.
Heartbreak for Adam Keefe as they slip down the field. Oh Yeah 2389 is looking for a way to close that gap to David Zahn. Hold on a second. Oh dear, Oh Yeah 2389 has dropped down to 6th. Oh, this is getting intense. Adam Keefe is just behind Kevin Lekmansky. Breaking news, folks. What move? Adam Keefe has moved up to 1st.
As an experienced driver, I can tell you that Adam Keefe must be laser focused on Lekmansky's every move, looking for the slightest weakness to exploit.
David Zahn is looking for an opportunity to get around Oh Yeah 2389.
Rubbing's racing, but let's just hope they don't rub it too hard.
It seems like David Zahn is struggling and not able to maintain his pace.
I heard a rumor that Zahn is feeling under the weather, likely from too much partying and staying up late.
Breaking alert. Big gains for David Zahn as they move up the field, leaving Oh Yeah 2389 behind. The pursuit is on. Sketty is working on that gap to Bjorn Hemmen, determined to claim P6. Hold that thought. Fantastic move from Sketty, who has just gained a position.
He's got his work cut out for him, that's for sure.
A tough moment for Sketty, who has just lost a place, now in 7th. Wait. A setback for Sketty, who has just been passed.
That's got to hurt. Sketty needs to get back on the line and minimize the damage. Yes, but there's still plenty of race left. Sketty needs to stay calm and focused, and make his move when the time is right.
It doesn't seem like things are going to plan for Kevin Lekmansky as there is a big gap ahead.
Anything can happen yet, and it usually does. I've certainly seen drivers come back from worse.
Sketty is pushing really hard, but as we know, pushing too hard can lead to other mistakes, like locking up the brakes or missing a shift.
We'll have to wait to see if Sketty can use the draft to his advantage, or if the lack of downforce will hinder his progress.
Sketty could be on a charge here, Ada. He's just put in a quicker lap than Bjorn Hemmen.
As long as Skedi can maintain that consistency and pace, it will be interesting to see.
An impressive showing from Skedi, who has gained positions and left Bjorn Hemmen in the dust. The gap between Oyad 2389 and David Zahn is pretty substantial right now. It's probably going to take a mistake from Oyad 2389 to even allow David to get a look at it. Hold the phone. Tough break for David Zahn, who has just lost a position.
Every race adds to a driver's experience, both good and bad. It just highlights that David is going to have to get more serious with practice to not get outclassed on the circuit.
Skedi wants to find a way round Bjorn Hemmen.
He'll need to keep it on the road, or at the very least the rumble strips. The fastest way around is not usually in the grass. As the saying goes, too much grass will slow you down.
It's not looking good for Skedi, who is still behind Bjorn Hemmen and the gap is increasing. Ada, what's the impact of tire degradation on race strategy? How does it affect a driver's approach to the race?
Tire degradation plays a crucial role in race strategy. How? Teams and drivers have to consider the optimal time to pit for fresh tires and adjust their race pace to balance speed with tire conservation. It adds another layer of complexity to the racing challenge.
This is what racing is all about. Two fierce competitors pushing each other to the limit.
That's right, Hal. The pressure can easily get the best of even seasoned drivers. The fans are on the edge of their seats, waiting to see who will come out on top in this epic showdown.
Hold up, breaking info. Oh dear, Bjorn Hemmen has had an incident. Ryan Wilson is on a mission, chasing Kevin Lekmansky, who's desperately trying to stay ahead.
I would not be surprised to see him get this pass completed soon.
Looks like Ryan Wilson is really hitting those curbs aggressively, which can unsettle the car and cause handling issues. Braking update. And we have the safety car out, which means the drivers need to be extra cautious now.
It's a real game changer, with drivers needing to adjust their strategies and try to find ways to gain an advantage.
It's also a bit of a break for the drivers, giving them a chance to catch their breath and regroup before the action kicks off again.
Indeed, taking too much curb can upset the car's balance, leading to oversteer or understeer. It's a game of strategy now as Wilson hunts down Kevin. Yes, it's all about choosing the right moments to push and when to conserve energy, waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Tactics are clearly going to play an important part in this race.
Drivers are going to need to look after their tires and will want to keep something in them for the crucial latter stages, as their tires wear and fuel levels deplete in the handling changes.
And don't forget the track grip increases as more rubber gets laid down.
Indeed, the conditions are constantly changing and the drivers need to adapt, otherwise it can cost crucial time and jeopardize their position.
And the race is back underway. The safety car period is behind us, and the drivers are eager to get back into the rhythm and chase down their rivals. It may seem like Bjorn Hemmen is far behind, but Skedi can't afford to let his guard down. One mistake could give Bjorn Hemmen an opening to catch up. Hold that thought. Now I may be wrong here, but I'm not sure that's the racing way.
It's a real shame. Until this point in the race he'd been looking at a decent result.
The gap between Kevin Lekmansky and Adam Keefe is razor thin as they vie for first in this nail-biting contest. The pressure is on as Ryan Wilson tries to catch up to Simon Tedeschi.
One important aspect here is choosing the right braking points. Wilson needs to be precise to avoid overshooting and losing valuable time.
This is going to be a nail-biter. Adam Keefe is defending for his life, but Skedi is right there doing everything he can to force a mistake. Hold on a moment. A great moment for Adam Keefe, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings.
Surely he's got enough in the tank to pull away. Gonna be interesting to watch this battle unfold.
It's a close race between Skedi and Adam Keefe in second. Braking update. What a tight spot for Skedi. Wilson is right on his tail 0.2 seconds away, and Adam Keefe just inches ahead with a gap of 0.2 seconds. It's a true test of these drivers' racecraft abilities.
It's a battle for position as Skedi tries to make a move on Adam Keefe. This is what racing is all about.
The pursuit is on. Ryan Wilson is closing the gap on Adam Keefe, determined to claim P2.
Sometimes you have to take risks to win, but pushing the car too hard can be a costly mistake. Wilson needs to be careful not to overdo it.
This is getting exciting. Ryan Wilson is looking for any gap that might open up the position.
That's right, Adam Keefe is showing some great form and it looks like Wilson won't be able to catch up, barring any mistakes.
Superb driving from Adam Keefe, who with that overtake has gained a position in the race.
You can't argue with results like that. Adam Keefe is really making his mark on this race.
Wait. A brilliant maneuver from Bjorn Hemmen, who has just moved up the field. Things are getting spicy as Bjorn Hemmen and Ryan Wilson look to battle it out for second place.
Absolutely. Bjorn Hemmen in second is doing a fantastic job of maintaining his lead, but he can't afford to make a single mistake. Ryan is looking for any opportunity to make a move. This could be a battle to the finish line.
Look at that, Ryan Wilson is hot on the tail of Bjorn Hemmen. Stop the press. Great driving from Ryan Wilson, who has just gained a place and moved up to second.
That's what we like to see. Wilson is really showing his class today.
It seems like Bjorn Hemmen is getting in range of Ryan Wilson.
To achieve anything in this game, you must be prepared to dabble at the boundary of disaster.
Ryan Wilson is running second and trying to catch Adam Keefe. Hold on a moment. It's a tale of two drivers right now, with Ryan Wilson gaining places and Adam Keefe losing them.
This is where every inch counts. Wilson is pushing hard to close the gap on Adam Keefe. Absolutely. Precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
This is a thrilling battle as Adam Keefe edges closer to Simon of the Desert in their fight for P3. Breaking update. Disappointing for Adam Keefe, falling down the order to 5th.
That's got to be frustrating, but Adam Keefe is a skilled driver, and he's got what it takes to battle back up the field. The mental game is just as important here. Adam Keefe must keep his cool while putting pressure on Simon.
Oh, this is getting intense. David Zahn is just a few car lengths behind Adam Keefe.
This is not going to be an easy pass to make.
Looks like we might have a great battle starting here between Adam Keefe in 4th and David Zahn. It's been tense with a gap of only 0.4 seconds. Adam Keefe is not able to keep his pace consistent and is currently 0.81 seconds down. David Zahn is giving it his all chasing down Adam Keefe in P4. Things are heating up as Adam Keefe tries to close the gap to Simon of the Desert. It's looking good for Adam Keefe, who has gained a place after passing Simon of the Desert. Breaking update. Heartbreak for Adam Keefe as they slip down the field.
Definitely, but Adam Keefe is a skilled driver, and has what it takes to fight back and regain that position.
Oh dear, Adam Keefe has dropped down to 4th. This is where the skill and precision of the drivers really comes into play. Simon of the Desert is chasing David Zahn in P4.
The racing is getting tight between Simon and Dave as they battle for P4. No doubt, both drivers know that one mistake could cost them a position. It's a test of nerves as much as skill.
The battle for P3 is heating up as David Zahn tries to catch Adam Keefe in P3. Every move counts now as OYAD 2389 works to reel in Simon of the Desert and overtake for P5.
Don't forget the role of aerodynamics. OYAD 2389 should use slipstreaming to his advantage and close the gap to Simon.
OYAD 2389 is pushing hard and has reduced the gap to Simon of the Desert to 0.3 seconds. Hold that thought. Fantastic move from OYAD 2389, who has just gained a position.
Impressive. OYAD 2389 is really showing his skill and determination out there.
Let's talk about tire degradation. Ada, how does it affect the car's handling and what do drivers need to do to adapt to the changing conditions?
Tire degradation can significantly impact handling. How? As the tires wear, the grip reduces, and drivers need to adjust their braking points, cornering speeds, and throttle application to maintain control of the car.
Pushing too hard can lead to mistakes, and we're seeing that now. That car is really unsettled from being pushed for every last bit of speed.
You can see that car bouncing around as it rides the curbs. It's a risky move that could end in disaster.
The gap between Adam Keefe and Bjorn Hemmen has grown. It's now up to 0.6 seconds. And we're back, where the drivers are showing us some incredible skills.
Indeed, how? It's always exciting to see these skilled drivers operating such fantastic machines on amazing tracks.
Oh yeah, 2389 has a mountain to climb at the moment to close that gap with David Zahn. I expect his only hope at this point is that David makes an error. Braking development. A tough moment for Oh yeah 2389, who has just lost a place, now in 6th.
It's not over until the checkered flag drops, and it's important to maintain concentration until you've made it to the finish line.
Things are heating up as Adam Keefe closes in on Bjorn Hemmen. The gap between them is down to practically nothing.
They say rubbing is racing, but if Adam Keefe gets too close, they might end up trading carbon fiber souvenirs instead of positions.
Hold on a moment. A great moment for Adam Keefe, who has just gained a place and moved up the standings. The action is heating up here as Bjorn Hemmen is in 3rd, defending from David Zahn, who is only 0.3 seconds away. David Zahn is on a mission, chasing Bjorn Hemmen, who's desperately trying to stay ahead. The gap between David Zahn and Bjorn Hemmen is widening. It's now up to 0.4 seconds. A great pass for David Zahn, swapping places with Bjorn Hemmen to move up the field. This is a thrilling battle as Adam Keefe edges closer to Ryan Wilson in their fight for P1.
Absolutely. Precision and control are key here. Knowing when to push and when to hold back can be the difference between winning and losing.
The intensity is off the charts as David Zahn hounds Bjorn Hemmen, both drivers pushing themselves to the absolute limit. Wait, and David Zahn has just won the place from Bjorn Hemmen. Hold your breath, folks. These drivers are showing exceptional car control, threading the needle through tight corners. It's a battle for supremacy. Braking development. What a move. Bjorn Hemmen has moved up to 3rd.
Absolutely. Bjorn Hemmen is really putting on a clinic out there, and he's making it look easy. Couldn't agree more, Hal. This wheel-to-wheel racing is what fans live for. The determination and tenacity shown by these drivers to gain even the smallest advantage is simply awe-inspiring.
David Zahn is holding 4th, but Oh yeah 2389 is right on his tail.
It's not over yet. Oh yeah 2389 is right on David's tail, and if he can find just a little bit of extra speed, he might be able to make a move.
Stop the press. A brilliant maneuver from Oh yeah 2389, who has just moved up the field. These drivers are walking a razor's edge between pushing the limits and making costly errors.
Absolutely. It's all about finding that sweet spot where you're pushing the car to its limits without crossing the line into reckless driving. Oh yeah 2389 is looking to close the 0.3 second gap and make a pass.
Braking update. Great driving from Ryan Wilson, who has just gained a place and moved up to 1st. This is what high-octane racing looks like. Ryan Wilson is breathing down the neck of Adam Keefe, not giving him any room to relax. Braking alert. An impressive showing from Oh yeah 2389, who has gained positions and left David Zahn in the dust.
Definitely, but there's still a long way to go in this race, and anything can happen. Oh yeah 2389 needs to keep driving with focus and intensity.
It's like watching two predators circling each other, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce.
You can feel the intensity in the air. The slightest mistake could cost either of them valuable time, in the position.
The pressure is on as Bjorn Hemmen tries to catch up to Sketty. Hold up, braking info. A setback for David Zahn, who has just been passed. This is where the race gets really interesting. David Zahn is closing in on Oh yeah 2389. Look at that, Bjorn Hemmen is hot on the tail of Sketty. Hold on a second. That won't be ideal for David Zahn.
Dave is not going to be happy about that. The gap is 0.5 seconds now. Bjorn Hemmen is going to have to work a bit harder to close that gap with Sketty.
Oh, this is getting intense. Ryan Wilson needs to keep Adam Keefe in his sights.
Wilson is really hustling that ASRL Radical State Route 3, XXR. He's riding the curbs and pushing the car to its limits.
This is what it's all about, folks. David Zahn is in hot pursuit of Bjorn Hemmen, who's just trying to stay ahead. As we come into the final moments of this epic race, Adam Keefe is in the lead.
It takes a special kind of driver to perform under pressure like this. Adam Keefe has certainly risen to the occasion.
And that, folks, is how it's done. A solid performance and great win from Adam Keefe. A nail-biting finish, but Ryan Wilson claims second place.
Impressive result. He can be proud of that performance, which landed him on the second podium spot.
What a race from Simon of the Desert. He kept his cool and secured a well-earned third place on the podium. In 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th, it's Sketty, Oh yeah 2389, Bjorn Hemmen and David Zahn.